Welcome back to What Arty Noobs. This is the Conqueror Gun Carriage. It's the Tier 10 British SPG. It's located on the north spawn of Overlord and it's under the command of General Disturbance. Yes, it's one of my games. Yes, again. In fact, this is a pair of my games that I've held recently, ever since the recent changes. So let's see how I get on. No, the Conqueror Gun Carriage never really existed. Yes, I'm afraid it's a figment of wargaming's imagination. It is based on the Conqueror tank and what the British might have actually built if they had got around to putting together such an SPG. The caliber of the gun, 234mm, 233 actually, 0.7 is the exact amount. And it's now capable of doing 1000 alpha, penetrating 59mm with standard rounds, and with premium rounds it's 1350. Notice I haven't loaded any armor piercing at all, basically because armor piercing is a waste of time, and I think wargaming realised that encouraging people to fire shells which won't do anything at the enemy. Okay, well, we're ready to shoot, and our first target turned up was a Batchat 25T AP, but we've got a Foch 155 sitting on the corner. I'm going to fire around in there just in case. He probably felt that one. It's got a rather large blast radius, this Arty, so he probably did get splashed by that one. Okay, I'm trying to see if I can shoot down on the beach. Not from this angle, not from this position, so I'm going to have to move a bit closer to the cliff edge if I'm going to try and do that. There are some drawbacks though of actually moving closer to the edge. There's that rock gets in the way, and also it means that you've got further to run away from the enemy if the enemy does break through. Okay, well, I've got a bigger target to aim at now, a T-95, the American Tier 9 tank destroyer. He's a very big target, makes it much easier to hit. But my shell, even though it hits the gun mantlet, you can see the mark where it actually impacted, only does 82 hit points of damage, would you believe it? Very, very little indeed. And yet again, no shot on the tanks down by the beach. So, okay, the gun's spun round and we've got an Object 430 to aim at now. But I ditched that because I noticed the Super Conk hanging over the edge there, using his gun depression to shoot at my teammates. Now, I aim a bit further on, hoping the shell will go through the aim point. Unfortunately, that one hits the bunker, so don't get anything at all from that shell. Standard reload time 44 seconds. I've managed to get 35. I've got using a rammer. I'm using premium consumables as well, which is tea and pudding. Okay, I'm going back to that spot because the Leopard prototypes reappeared. I should have mentioned this at the start. This is a Tier 10 game with Tier 9 tanks in it. Rounds out the Leopard. It lands behind him and all it does is stun him, unfortunately. So, yes, I'm going to change position. I'm a bit concerned that we've got no defenders down on the beach now, although the Batchat 25T AP on our team is going down to have a look and see if he can find that T10. And over on the corner again, we've got a Striv 103B, but right over the far side, an Object 140 is trying to punch through, and he's got a Type 61 on him. I think he's going to die, because the Noobs has turned up as well. And he has gone. In fact, it was the Udes who killed him. So going back to the corner, we've got that Striv 103B. Remember, the Foch was seen on that corner as well, although he's probably somewhere else now. In fact, he's back in the garage. Direct hit on the Striv. He's out the game. 338 from that one. First kill. We seem to be doing rather well at the moment because we're 5 up on the enemy. Again, trying to get a solution on that Leopard. It's a bit difficult. He just pokes his rear out every now and then goes back into cover behind the bunker. Okay, I'm going to hold that spot and fire. Rounds out. Again, it lands behind him, goes to the right. You notice how the accuracy has been nerfed quite considerably as well by Wargaming since they did the nerf. Lots of Arty players are noticing differences, and it's actually becoming a bit of a joke, really. They're desperately trying to stop Arty from being effective, but of course Arty players are very resourceful and of course very skilled. And we do our best to try and work with the changes that Wargaming's made, but we just won't pay them anything anymore. T92 HMC rounds out. Long flight time for the shell. And a direct hit on target because there was no explosion. And he's lost all of his hit points, but I did get spotted by that super conch. And I'm having to duck down behind the ridgeline there to stop the super conch killing me. He did fire one shell in my direction, but he didn't get a hit. And I'm now going for the T10, who came up from the beach. That's the super conch that I fired at earlier, by the way. I marked the T10, but I'm actually aiming at the super conch. Which is not what I should be doing. I should be telegraphing exactly what I am doing. And I stunned the super conch at the moment. Okay, this time round, I think the round is going to the T10. The super conch is actually protected kind of by that rock, that outcropping. But I've switched targets. This time round I'm definitely going to go for the super conch. He is tracked. If I can immobilize him, that will help my teammates. And they seem to be focusing on him rather than T10. Oh, now I fired just at the moment when he moved forward. But I did track him. And I got some damage, and I'm now getting a stun assist, as well as damage assist. Now he's the last enemy now. And the kill shot goes in from the T30. And this is a game over. Here's the end of battle results, and that was only a second-class tanker for general disturbance in the Conqueror Gun Carriage. I managed to get my first mark of excellence on the barrel, as well as a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in this one. I managed to get 10, and I got a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on my team. 1,564 was the win rate. It wasn't a particularly good battle. In fact, yeah, a couple of the shots didn't go anywhere near the targets, and as a consequence, I didn't end up with as many hit points as I should have got if those shots had been accurate. But I think it just goes to show that Wargaming have nerfed accuracy as well. Not just on certain RTs like the M44, but I think they have nerfed it overall, the whole board. And they're doing that because most of the Arty players are actually improving rapidly to try and cope with the changes to the amount of damage on the alpha. Let's have a look at the team score. Again, as you can see, nowhere near the top. Normally an Arty, like a Conqueror Gun Carriage, will be earning as much damage as this under the old version of the game before the nerf. Instead, the top scorer was the Viz 56, who managed to get 5,076 hit points of damage. The second highest damage was that super conch with 3,534, and the third highest damage was the Gorilla 15 with 2,844. I only managed 1,742, which is pretty paltry, really, all considered, but I did get the only medal in the game, the Confederate. When it came to kills, it was the Udes who did the best with 3 kills. 2 kills to the Type 61, the T30, the T55A, and only 1 player on the enemy team managed to score above 1 kill, and that was the EBR 105. When it came to base XP, it was the Viz 55 who did the best with 1,024, and not Viz 56 as I said earlier. 938 went to the Type 61, 844 to the E75. I only picked up 810, which wasn't far behind, but just goes to show how bad my performance was. Normally I would again expect to be in the top 3 on games like this, but yes, we have been nerfed. You can tell. 9 shots fired, 3 direct hits, no penetrations on the enemy, 10 splash, damage of 1,742 hit points, of which 1,559 were at more than 300 meters. I damaged 7 of the enemy, killed 1, did 64 hit points of damage assistance, plus 1,507 hit points of stun assist off 9 stuns. On a premium account, I earned 45,279 credits, 22,640 from personal reserves, a total of 67,919. And after ammunition resupply, and yes, it is expensive, 50,769 credits profit. 5 bonds, because it was a tier 10 game. 1,215 XP times 4 for the first victory, 1,215 again from personal reserves, 6,075 experience points altogether. So, first game, I got my first mark on this Arty. Actually, I think many of you know that I didn't actually go for the tier 9 and tier 10 Arty for quite some time. I held back for a couple of years because I wanted to perfect myself and get really good at all the tier 6 to tier 8 Arties, and so I actually deliberately held back, but it was only when it actually impeded my ability to play with other players that I then went on to the tier 10 Arty after all, and now I'm actually starting to get my marks on them. So, despite the fact that I've been playing Arty for years, literally, ever since the first time I played the game, I've only just now managed to get a first mark on my tier 10s, well, on this tier 10. Let's have a look at the second battle and see how I get on in that one. The second replay is in the M53 M55, and I'm located on the north spawn of El Halluf. And this is in my Fort Hugh 2 account. Yes, I know it's a terrible pun really, that nickname, or that IGN as I should say, in-game name. Came about because I think actually somebody else suggested or asked me to suggest some funny names that somebody might be able to use, and they didn't use the name themselves, and I thought, well, I could possibly use that one myself and for one of my new accounts. And kind of stuck. Of course, they have to read it properly if they want to actually understand what I was actually referring to. First target's an object 430, other side of the valley, got spotted, sitting up on the heights providing cover. I fire around him, and well, we'll have to find out, see if I got anything on him a little later. Now, one of the things a lot of Arty players are now doing is moving between each shot religiously almost to try and ensure that they don't get hit by the enemy until they know that the enemy Arty has been killed. In this game, there's only one Arty on either team. The opposite number is an M53, M55, so I do have to take care that I don't get hit. And there's a Kunstpanzer and a standard B. Rounds out the standard B. Yes, 354. He won't like that. It's quite a sizable chunk of damage. Plus, of course, the worst thing for him is, yeah, the stun. And he's just been hit again. So stun assist is actually providing me with a bit of extra. Okay, aiming for the Kunstpanzer, but I'm following the standard B at the same time. See if I can get them. I go for the standard B instead this time. They collide. Rounds out. And I hit both of them this time. The standard B took the brunt of it. 428 hit points of damage, but I got 130 off the Kunz. And I'm picking up more stun assists, so it's obviously helping my teammates to get shots on them. And yes, the standard B and Kunstpanzer are down. They're out and back in the garage. So we're aiming for the same spot where the 430 was last seen. I might just drop another round in there, see if he's still around. But instead, I see the Waffenträger auf Panzer 4. And he's a real danger to my teammates, so I'm going to fire around in his spot. And 421, which is a non-penetrating shot, which is a bit disappointing for an M53, M55, because an 18-inch shell should go straight through his armour and give me a pen. Okay, ready to go. We're now aiming to the northwest corner, which is not doing well. The enemy's managed to push through. Okay, Viz 55 first target, rounds out. Splashes in for 90, and I'm changing position. You'll notice as well, I do put a sideways element into my position move to ensure that there's a chance that the enemy will aim at the wrong spot. which target's going to be the one. Is it going to be the Viz again? Well, he's the one that's pushing forward, and he's the one that my teammates are focusing on. That Conqueror is about to die, I think. I'm going to try and hit the Viz. Rounds out. Only stun him this time. I don't think I aimed far enough back to actually get a shot on him. Change position. Okay. Well, Striv 103B in siege mode in basically a very open position. I'd be very concerned if I was in a Striv not to do that, because it just makes you an easy target. Rounds out. It went long. You saw that. I was aimed directly at the Striv, but it definitely went long, and it didn't even stun him. Or if it did stun him, he used his first aid kit very quickly. But he's still there, and our teammates are actually holding the enemy back on that corner. The Super Conk that we saw earlier, even though he's down to virtually no hit points at all, he's still around. So I'm focusing on the Striv because he is a deadly assassin from range, and I know that. Rounds out. Let's see if I can get him this time. Direct hit! 394 hit his rear. He's stunned. He's not correcting his stun, so he must have been stunned the previous time. And he's used his first aid kit, and he can't use it again until it cools down. Okay, we're now containing the enemy in that northwest corner, but the problem is that rock face is actually blocking a shot in that direction. I can't see the Striv. Oh, no, I can see him now. And so I'm definitely going to go for him again. Rounds out. Oh, and he takes out of siege mode and pulls away just in time to avoid any blast, but he did get stunned. Changing position yet again. The enemy rear is now open. We've got 3 tanks closing in on the enemy in their rear. This Emil's down to virtually no hit points, and now he's back in the garage, but the Striv is back. You see he's badly hit. Now, can I kill him? Let's have a go. Stay still. Rounds out. Yep, got him enough. Okay, so he's gone. There's only 3 enemies remaining. An E50M who's just died. And in fact, actually, they've lost everyone. They've only got a Heshpan left. The FE4005, Stage 2. And Stage 2 was the enclosed one. The Stage 1 was the open one. And there he goes before I can reload. So this game is a win also. Here's the end of battle results, and that was a second class tanker for me in the M53, M55. I got a second mark of excellence from that game, and I also picked up a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In this one I managed to get 9, and my win rate was slightly better, 2,143 from this one. Still not great, because normally I would be in Super Unicum Standard or at least over 3,000 win rate, so I think the changes are still affecting us to a certain extent. Let's have a look at team score and see where we are. Okay, well, not the highest damage. You can see the highest damage actually went to the Object 777-2 with 3,520 hit points. 3,420 went to the mouse on our team, and the next highest damage was the Heshpan with 3,303. So even though he was actually hanging back, he still managed to get a lot of damage, and he actually shared that damage level with the Kramvan. What a name, yes. Hard Nipples in the Kramvan managed to get a Confederate. Yes, I think he did that deliberately, didn't he? Yes, okay. I only managed to get 2,062 hit points of damage, but that was still reasonable. As I said, normally I'd be up in the top 3, but on this occasion we're still grinding our way back to top performance. When it came to kills, the high scorer was the standard B on our team with 3 kills. 2 kills to the mouse, the Super Conk, and also to the FV4005, the Heshpan. And I only managed to get 1 kill out of that game, and that was the Striv 103B. When it came to base XP, it's the Object 777 version 2 with 1,079. 907 went to the standard B, and the mouse managed 906. I only managed 830 from that game. I fired 10 shots, got 4 direct hits, no penetrations, 11 splash. Damage of 2,062 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damage 6 of the enemy, killed 1, so that's why I missed out on the Confederate in this occasion. 945 hit points of stun assist off 10 stuns. On a premium count, I earned 34,964 credits, 17,482 from personal reserves, a total of 52,445 credits altogether, and after ammunition resupply, 33,745 credits profit. 1,245 XP, times 4 for the first victory, 622 from personal reserves, took away 5,602 experience points altogether. So 2 marks off 2 games. First mark on the Conqueror, and second mark on the M53, M55 on a different account. Yes, I think we are noticing that there has been quite a distinct change in the accuracy. Many other players are noticing this too. We're getting shells which are going nowhere near the aim point. They're veering off to the right, veering off to the left, or going long or going short. But it's very rare to get a shot that goes exactly where you want it to go. Even if you do aim at a target for a long time to make sure that it's perfect, it still seems to find a way to veer to one side or the other. Proving, I think, in the sense that Wargaming have done more than just reduce the damage of the shells, they've actually nerfed the accuracy on top. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed both those replays. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.